Hi.
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 Welcome to Counselors. You made me laugh.
I don't know. We haven't. Hi.
Hi. Welcome to.
Counselors in the car getting coffee.
Yes. Well,
I'm Gordon Gooding. I'm a licensed clinical social worker here on Long Island.
I'm Margaret. I'm also a licensed clinical social worker working on Long Island in New York.
And this is a show where we kind of get together. We're going to get in the car, as we are, go get some coffee, and we're going to talk about some things as they relate to therapy and how they can help you. Can we tell them where we're going to get coffee? Because then I'm a little excited about today's coffee stop.
Yes. Okay. And then I'll tell you the
Because
topic.
if we keep plugging these places, maybe they'll,
Maybe they'll give you free coffee.
maybe they'll give me free
We're going
coffee.
to
Mango's Coffee in Syosset. It's a local spot. If you haven't been, it is really good, but it's very strong coffee. So we're going to wake up and I'm going to be more fired up than I usually am. And with our coffee, we're going to be talking about
Imposter Syndrome, something that hits a lot of people that we see and has hit us at different points of our lives.
yes, 100%. I think a lot. It hurts a lot of people, and I know personally it's something I struggle with a lot, especially early on in my career.
I think I've seen it often in younger people, definitely at the start of their career. But now lately, as people are changing careers, I see it in older people.
All the time, yeah.
Yeah.
And I think, there's a lot of pieces to it. There's a lot of comparison that goes on, and it's just like a trap that I think so many of us fall into. That's just not fair to anybody, So I figured let's spend some time talking about it. I know I have had some experiences with it. I know I want to speak for you, but I know
Yes.
we both have had some experience with this, so we could share a little bit of our experiences and a little bit of what it is and how do we combat it.
Yes.
Right? And there also is 5 types. I didn't know about that. Did our research on this.
Yes, we did.
I feel like I got a little bit of all 5 at certain points in my life. Is that an overachiever part of me? Probably.
Yes, you're Superman. Superman.
That is definitely one of the things I think yes, but we'll get to that.
Yeah.
So we're just about to pull into Mango's and grab some coffee. Here we are pulling into Mango's. When we come back, we're going to start talking about
Imposter
syndrome.
So we have our coffee. We got little tiny coffees. Okay, we have our coffee. We got little tiny, very full of
what are they
caffeine. These are cortados.
And man, they got some cortado-ness to them.
They're very good. But they
strong.
pack a punch.
I'm going to get some shit done today, man.
Today we're talking about imposter syndrome. I'm going to actually cheat and read this. People who suffer from imposter syndrome have a sort of chronic self-doubt, and they have a hard time owning their skills, owning their gifts, even if they are shown or people tell them how good they are at something. They have a hard time owning that. They doubt themselves and they kind of put themselves down repeatedly.
And it's like also a constant comparison, like thinking you should know something. I always say, thinking you should know something you do not know.
Right.
You're not supposed to know what you don't know.
Yeah.
Right?
And, I thought about this because I've struggled with it.
I have struggled with it.
And
so many people. We work with a lot of young therapists up and coming.
Yeah.
They struggle with it. And just people in general. It's not just unique to the therapy world. It's teaching, all sorts of things.
The reason I wanted to do it this week is there's a Netflix documentary on golf. And Joel Damon, I think he won one of the PGA majors, but he had always been putting himself down. It was like, well, if someone has to be the 70th golf guy, that'll be me, where his caddy and everybody told him that he could be top 30 in the world. But he could not own it, and that affected how he played his game.
Well, it's believing in yourself, and that's hard, especially when you're constantly comparing in this world of social media and
Yes.
and YouTube video, like you're looking at all these things, you compare ourselves to these people that are at the pinnacle or on the top of things. Then we like, I don't know how to play golf like that, so I can't play.
Yeah, but even he was a really good golfer. He would still compare himself, and he just didn't think he had the drive. He didn't own that he had the ability to play at that level.
And there's so many sports figures who've had that too.
Oh, 100%.
I believe the Tiger Woods one, he had something similar. There were a bunch of them that just filled with these self-doubt when they were just so clearly exceeded all expectations for their industry.
Yeah. So it can present itself in a lot of different ways. There's the expert. The expert takes trainings, tries to get certification after certification to kind of prove that they're good at something.
Like never enough.
Yeah.
Never, like keep, more education, like on top of, and
Yeah, and sometimes things they don't even need. Classes
100%.
they've already taken, they're retaking. I've had clients in fields that don't require them to go to the lengths that they're going to, but never felt that they had enough knowledge to springboard themselves out into.
And it's different from those who want to broaden their career and keep learning certain things. This is, I'm not going to be successful if I don't have this next piece of paper, certification, training.
Yeah.
It's a different mindset.
Right. It's not something that you need. There's just never going to be enough. There's never going to be enough training. You're always going to want more and more and more.
Looking for the outside validation.
Yes.
I always say we look for these outside things to make our insides feel better. That's a trap.
Right.
And I think that's what happens a lot with imposter syndrome. But let's go through the rest of them though,
Okay.
for a little bit, and then I'd love to hear what you think. Like, I have an idea where mine kind of fall in the category of, but I'd be curious to hear what yours are and mine are, and then what we can do about it.
Yes. Then there's the Superwoman, Superman, where you might always be trying to go above and beyond, either at work or with friends or with anything that's important to you. Staying late, doing all the things.
Volunteering for everything.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
And sometimes at the sacrifice of your own mental and physical health. That's
Yes.
what I've seen. It happens a lot.
Yeah, moms can do that. Trying to be the PTA mom, trying to work, trying to make all their own organic food. It's just
Too much. It's too much. And the judgment and the criticism they put on themselves if they don't do everything, we're talking about perfectionism, probably one of the next ones, but the same type of thing.
Right.
If we don't do it all this way, it's not good enough, which is just BS.
Yeah. And yes, there is the perfectionist trying to do everything well, being very aware of the details and nitpicking over them, and if it's not right, getting upset with yourself and putting yourself down. And nothing can be perfect.
Nothing is perfect, but we hold ourselves to that standard of it's got to be perfect. If I'm not going to do it perfectly, it's not worth doing, and it's such a trap because
Yes.
nothing's perfect in this world, and we're not going to be perfect parents, we're not going to be perfect partners, we're not going to be perfect therapists or lawyers or attorneys, it's just
Right.
going to, we're all going to be human, right? And humans are not perfectly imperfect.
Yes. It's setting an ideal where you are going to feel like an imposter because you can't hit it. None of us can hit it. And then
Which
the soloist.
the soloist.
I have a couple. The soloist doesn't like to work in a group or doesn't want to ask for help.
Yeah, you're a soloist.
It's a
You're
problem.
soloist.
It's a problem.
Yeah. I'm one of these too, so I'm not judging you. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I totally see that.
Where they don't want to ask for help, they have to do everything on their own. And if they don't do it on their own, that means they're weak or they're not as good or they have to have training wheels on all the time. That's not the case. I think one of the biggest lessons in life is that we have to ask for help, and we have to. Everything in life is a group project.
Thank goodness. It's more. Listen, I would be so much more uncomfortable if it was just me sitting there talking to this video. Being with people, that's part of the human experience, is to be connected with people and interact with people. So, yes, that's like you're depriving yourself when you're being a soloist.
Yes.
Of a real interaction, a real connection with somebody that can be helpful for you.
Yeah.
You don't have to do it alone, but I know we sometimes think we do.
Yes, and it can make the project easier for us and
more enjoyable.
Yeah.
Right?
And better because you don't get alternate points of view.
Yeah,
so.
Exactly. So what else is there?
And the last one was the natural genius.
The natural genius. That sounds like something I want to be.
Yes, I would like to be the natural genius. The natural genius.
So what is the natural genius?
That's where the person might not immediately know something. It could be about technology, it could be changes in their field, and if they don't know it, they feel like, if it's something that they have to learn and they don't know it right away, they get down on themselves. And we can't predict new things that are happening or new approaches that are happening. We all have to learn those. I see that a lot actually with older people where they just want to say like, I know it all, I don't have to learn anything else.
Yeah. And it's like that's it.
Yeah.
You cut yourself off from the openness of the world to learn new things. Like, just because we've been doing something. Listen, how many times have I told you I'm not doing the social media? I'm not doing it. You know, like, if you cut yourself off, you deprive
Right.
yourself of an experience that might be good for you, right?
Yeah.
And that's, fear-based.
It is fear-based, and it's uncomfortable to learn something new.
But it's so good to
Yeah.
get uncomfortable. I always say that too. It's like you got to get uncomfortable and learn some new things, and that's part of that. It's like being open to it.
Right. And
Never too old to learn something new.
keeps your brain young. So.
But I think behind all of it, it's so funny, the imposter syndrome, and it's something I learned in therapy early on, was like, I don't have to know what I don't know. Behind all is this idea that I should know something I don't know, which is so unfair.
Yes.
Right? Just so, unbelievably unfair. If the car broke down right now, I wouldn't know how to fix it if it wasn't just the gas, right?
No,
But
no.
in my head, it would say, well, you should know this because you're a guy, or whatever it is, that's just such a dangerous trap that it's so unfair to us and does such damage to our emotional and mental health,
100%. So what can you do?
Well, I was going to ask you first, which one of those areas do you think, do you mind sharing a little bit about your experience with imposter syndrome?
Oh, not at all.
Which one do you think you're like a soloist?
I find myself a soloist and a definite Superman, Superwoman.
Mm-hmm.
Staying late, working extra hard, and asking yourself, why am I doing this? Sometimes it's for external validation. So, I feel like I'm needed, I'm necessary.
Recognize, want to,
Right.
feel if I just, people see that I'm doing it enough, maybe I really know what I'm doing, kind of thing.
Right. So I had to really grow my own sense of internal validation that I'm doing the best job that I can do and find pride in what I offer, inside myself. That's really what I think is really very important.
100%, yeah. I think that's so much of it. I know mine was very similar. Mine is definitely a Superman complex, this. If I could just keep doing more and more, and if I don't say no, I can just, maybe I'll feel better about myself and I'll feel more confident, especially when we were younger,
Yeah.
Because we've known each other for 26 years. I think at the beginning of our career, I think you and I would burn ourselves out just to try to, just to try to
just to feel like you
keep
knew
our
what
head
you were
above
doing.
water
Yeah.
and to make us feel like we knew what we were doing. It's funny because I remember. Do you remember the talk?
Yes. Kind of boost each other up. Yeah.
When we were younger, it was I guess 20 years ago. So we were 4.
Yeah.
Okay. We would we had some days at work where you'd just feel like, I don't, as a new therapist, as a young therapist, or a new social worker in a school, wouldn't know what we were doing, and we would say,
Yeah, give us a talk.
Give me the talk. And we would pump each other up.
Yes.
Remember that?
Yeah.
It was, tell me why I'm doing this, and and it's okay that we don't know what we're doing. We're doing the best we can. We're working, and it was such a validating thing because I think we both felt so overwhelmed, and sometimes do we really know what we're doing?
Right.
Right.
A little adrift. And now I think I accept the fact that I don't always know everything.
You know what? And there's such a relief with that.
Yeah.
Isn't there? When I don't know something, just to say I don't know it and be open to learning about it is so much better than pretending I should know this.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
Because that's just, it's like a recipe for disaster, I feel like. Right?
Being able to say that you don't know something and reach out to other people for help and support and direction, I think that really is so important.
It's so stress relief.
Yeah.
My mental health is better as a result of it,
Yeah.
and people are okay with it. I always, say to my clients, I say it to, some of the younger therapists at our practice, once you don't know, then you can learn something. But if you just pretend you know something, it's like you're setting yourself up to fail and have more anxiety and more stress and just not good.
No, and what I did do is I did reframe it in my mind as a way I could show other people that it was okay.
Yes.
I could show my own kid that it's okay to ask for help,
Yes.
so they wouldn't feel this
Same burden.
self-doubt.
Yeah.
So in framing it that way, it made it easier for me to reach out for the first couple of times. And I still struggle, but I think it's there's a real growth opportunity there, a real learning opportunity.
Well, I think that's as we pivot to like what we can do. Right. I think that's part of it is to, like you just said, like we have to walk through this.
Right.
Right. Like when you just start a new job, you're not supposed to know everything.
Right.
Right. You start a new career. You start, a new position. You start, whatever it is. You're not supposed to know it. We're doing this YouTube thing, and to be honest with you, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just gonna see what happens. Right. And I think I would have years ago. I probably would never have done it because
it makes you feel vulnerable.
Yes, there's a lot of vulnerability that comes with it, and now I know that vulnerability can always lead me to a better place.
Right.
But
so daring yourself to do that. Also, for people starting new careers, I really encourage people to realize that they do bring things to the table. They might be new, but they went to school, they have new approaches that I don't know about. They know about things, especially technological things that I have no idea about. Listservs, all these things. And that can be helpful to me too. There's a give and a take when you're new, because you have information that somebody older doesn't have. Yeah. So don't...
in our practice, the thing I love is hearing from some of our younger therapists, and I think not that we're the older therapists, because we're just I guess we're the older therapists.
Well, no, we're like
22, whatever. So more experienced,
in some ways.
The more experienced therapists, we have a lot to share with them. But I have learned so much working with some of our younger therapists. That they're fantastic, and they bring some new perspectives and new thoughts and just and new insights into things. So like stay teachable.
Right.
I think that's part of it, is just to stay teachable, and you don't have to know anything. Right.
Right. And I think owning that you do add value. Your perspective adds value.
My favorite saying is don't believe everything you think.
Oh, I like that.
Because like everybody's fighting the internal. We all have things that we're fighting or struggling with, whether it's self-doubt, or whether it's feeling like an imposter at a new career or a new position. But it's not always real, because we're supposed to be vulnerable. We're supposed to have doubt, and we're supposed to not know things.
Yes, I agree.
Right, but we got to stay open to it. If you don't admit there's a problem, if you don't admit you don't know, then you can't learn anything, right?
Right,
and if you walk around pretending.
Yeah, if you don't talk to someone about these anxieties you might have, you're just going to hold them and be uncomfortable for a long period of time.
Our podcast, let's be honest, is available on iTunes, and not our podcast, but Leanna at Our Practice has a podcast, and they did a great episode with Emily about that idea of comparing ourselves to other people, and the dangers that come with it. And I think that's imposter syndrome right there, and especially with this social media.
100%.
Everyone posts, I got to do a new job, all this stuff, but you don't post how you're feeling insecure or whatever, right?
Yeah, no one ever posts that. So
maybe something. We'll put that link to that podcast episode in the show notes.
Yeah, in the description box or
I'm still
the end
doing
screen.
This again, right down there, right?
Yes. So what
are your thoughts of what?
Try to find internal validation. Ask for help when you need it, and share your worries with someone that you trust.
100%. Yeah. And it's good to. When someone coming to me for help, I like to help people with that.
Yes. Yeah. Well, it gives you a chance to share.
Yes.
Your own
self-doubt. Don't deprive other people in your field an opportunity to teach you something too.
Yes.
Especially safe people. Some people we know are not going to be safe, but other people are going to be very safe and want to help you.
100%.
So it's called imposter syndrome for a reason, because you're not supposed to be that person. You're exactly who you're supposed to be, and you know what you know, and it's okay to keep working towards growing in your field or your relationship or whatever you're looking to perfect in life.
Yes, and no one's perfect, so gonna own that.
And my wife will tell you I'm not, as much as Margaret thinks I am.
Yeah, 100%. All right, I'm Margaret Lorenz. This is Gordon Gooding.
You can learn more on goodingwellness.com. We will definitely put some links in the info underneath.
Yes, please hit the subscribe bell. And Yeah, there's a subscribe bell.
I thought it was a button.
There's a subscribe button, but there's also a subscribe bell, so they get notifications every time we post.
See, the imposter would say I should know that, but
Well,
it's okay not to know that.
You're not on YouTube a lot.
I'm not on YouTube a lot. And if
Go ahead. You do it.
you do it.
And if you have any questions, you can put it in the description box below, or you can hit us up on social media and let us know, and we'll put it in a further episode.
We'd love to hear your ideas or things you'd like us to talk about, so please feel free to reach out to us.
Thank you.
Peace.